Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Today, I wanted to talk to you about Butch Jones. And recently, it was announced by Matt Zenitz of AL.com that Butch Jones will be moving from the title of offensive analyst at Alabama to be the special assistant to the head coach. Now, let's talk about this and let's dive into it a little bit because Butch Jones, throughout the last couple years, he's been at Alabama. He's been in that offensive analyst role. So you're probably wondering, what is an offensive analyst and what now is a special assistant to the head coach? Talk about Nick Saban and his relationship with Butch Jones. And then I want to also talk about how much cheddar, how much cash Butch Jones is bringing in on a weekly basis. That is going to really surprise you. So first of all, over the last couple seasons, Butch Jones has been an offensive analyst at Alabama for the 2018 and for the 2019 season. And it looks like for the 2020 season, he will be the special assistant to the head coach. Now, over the last 2 years, Butch Jones has made, salary-wise, $35,000 a season. Now, you're probably out there being like, man, I probably make more than that, or man, that's not even a lot for someone who graduates college. Well, I'll tell you why in a second, how much Butch Jones is bringing in. Now, you have to rewind to 2013 through 2017 when Butch Jones was the head football coach at Tennessee. Now, he was fired in 2017 after the season, after going 84-54 in 5 seasons, with a record of, get this, 14-24 against SEC teams. Jones is still making from Tennessee because of his buyout clause. Tennessee owed him $8.2 million, and that was due in monthly installment payments. So right now, Butch Jones is making $51,000 per week. Yes, $51,000 per week. And that contract runs out from Tennessee in February of 2021. So I know there's been pictures out there circulated on social media that have Butch Jones wiping the windows of a Mercedes and people saying that, he's Saban's intern or whatever. No. Butch Jones is doing just fine. You're making $52,000 a week. You're doing just fine. I would venture to say that Butch Jones eventually gets back into a head coaching position after the 2020 season. And from sources that I've spoken to, Butch Jones is really well liked around the Alabama program, brings a lot of knowledge. And one thing that Nick Saban really, really likes about Butch Jones, and this is probably why he got elevated to this new special assistant to the head coach or whatever, is because of his organizational skills. From what we've heard, Butch Jones is always on top of it, never misses a meeting, always brings a lot to the table. And I know a lot of people out there want to clown him and want to, talk about the fact that, he's an intern, so to speak. No, I think overall, Saban can see that he brings a lot of knowledge, especially from the offensive side, to the table. I mean, this is a guy that we thought a couple seasons ago might be the offensive coordinator at Maryland. If Mike Locksley was to make him or try to go after him as the offensive coordinator, we know that Butch Jones made a couple trips to Maryland. I have sources that told me that. Looked like Butch Jones took a glance at the Rutgers head coaching job, probably felt it was in a good position. And then again, when you're making, almost $52,000 a week, there's no really need to jump to anything that doesn't make sense. One thing that I really admire about Nick Saban overall is how he's always playing chess. I always talk about that, right? You guys know I always say he's playing chess, not checkers out there. But look what he's doing from an analyst perspective. These are the analysts that Nick Saban currently has on staff. And these are guys that can't coach on the field. These are the guys who are basically behind the scenes. All right, check out this list. Charlie Strong, a recent addition, right? Is a head coach at South Florida and Texas. You have Butch Jones, who we're talking about now, head coach at Tennessee, also a head football coach at Central Michigan. You have Mike Stoops, tons of experience. He's a Oklahoma defensive coordinator. And then you have Major Applewhite. A lot of people forget about Stoops and Major Applewhite. Applewhite was a former head coach at Houston. You have all those coaches inside the room. This is a staff that nobody else can touch in college football in terms of the wealth of knowledge that's in the rooms with these certain position coaches, right? Can you imagine being in the defensive room at Alabama? All right, let's just look at the coaches in there. You have Pete Golding, who's surrounded by Sal Sinceri, who's surrounded by Charles Kelly. You have Freddie Roach, who just got added to the staff. You have Carl Scott. You have Mike Stoops. You have Charlie Strong. These are the names contributing inside the defensive room. And don't forget that Nick Saban is a defensive guy. So my point is, Nick Saban makes sure that the entire staff, not only the coaches that are the positional coaches, but the guys behind him are of the highest quality. Because I think when you kind of look between the lines, if either of these guys cannot get the job done, Nick Saban can swap an analyst inside that position. I think he's done a great job with that over the last several years. That's something that Saban has been known to do, and he continues to do it. And Butch Jones getting elevated to the special assistant to the head coach, I don't even know what that means. I would assume that, he just continues to be Saban's right-hand man and continues to help lead this program. Yeah, I know. A lot of people like to clown Butch Jones, but Butch Jones is probably the last one laughing, right, when you're making $52,000 a week. All right, so just wanted to jump on here real quick and talking about Butch Jones and kind of what it means overall, and kind of talk about, why he's still on staff and how Tennessee is still paying him from that buyout clause when he got fired in 2017 after they owed him $8.2 million. Continue to follow our coverage on BamaInsider.com. We're getting close to the NFL Combine. We'll have coverage on BamaInsider.com. It's almost time for spring football that starts mid-March right here on BamaInsider.com.